Hello friends, for those who are new here, I'm Tanya Rose Jacob. In this video, I want to talk about the laboratory diagnosis and treatment of Corynebacterium diphtheria infections. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment box. Let's have a look at the laboratory diagnosis first. One thing you guys should remember here is the treatment should be instituted immediately on clinical suspicion without waiting for the laboratory reports. Why? It's because of the risk of respiratory tract infection. Okay, for the laboratory diagnosis, we should isolate the bacilli, right? The which specimen we will collect here? We know those bacteria can cause the pharyngeal diphtheria, so we can collect the throat swab containing the fibrinous exudates. During pharyngeal diphtheria, the pseudomembrane will be formed, so we can use this also as a specimen. Pseudomembrane also as a specimen. We know one more thing, that this bacteria can cause cutaneous diphtheria, so we can collect the skin specimen. Now we have collected the specimen. Then on gram staining, it will take purple color. So it's gram positive cleft-shaped bacilli with Chinese letter or cuneiform arrangement. You can see here. And when we use the Albert stain or Neisser stain, you can see the green bacilli with the bluish black metachromatic granule. You can see that here. And since it is fastidious, it prefers to grow in enriched media. Here we are using blood agar, in which the colonies are small, circular, white and sometimes hemolytic. You can see white colonies here. And in Loeffler's serum slope, colonies appear as small, circular, glistening and white with a yellow tinge. The advantages of Loeffler's medium is growth can be detected early, and it's a burst medium for metachromatic granule production. The disadvantage part is, as it is an enriched medium, if we incubate it beyond 6 to 8 hours, it supports the growth of other throat commensals also. The selective medium using here is, the first one is Tinsdale medium. Here you can observe black colored colonies surrounded by a brown halo. Because brown halo, it's black colored colony you can observe here because it convert the tellurate to tellurium. That is this color. The another selective medium is Hall's potassium tellurate agar, which produce black colonies. The advantage of Hall's potassium tellurate agar is, here the throat commensals are inhibited, but it has disadvantage part also, like colonies will appear only after 48 hours of incubation. You can see the Loeffler's serum media here and Tinsdale medium. It is the tellurate potassium agar Hall. Okay. Now let's move on to the biochemical identification. First one is serum sugar media. Here it ferments glucose and maltose and starch. Second one is pyrazinamidase test, which is positive for the Corynebacterium diphtheria, Corynebacterium ulcerans, Corynebacterium pseudotuberculosis. The third biochemical test is urease test, which is negative for the Corynebacterium diphtheriae and positive for Corynebacterium ulcerans and Corynebacterium pseudotuberculosis. The other thing is Corynebacteria is catalase positive, Corynebacterium diphtheria is catalase positive but oxidase negative. The typing of Corynebacterium is by biotyping, serotyping and bacteriophage typing, bacteriocin typing and molecular typing. Then epidemiology. Due to vaccination, there is a worldwide decline of the infections caused by this bacteria. Carriers are the major source of infection, and very less percentage, about 5% of infection is by the active cases. There are temporary and chronic carriers. The nasal carriers are dangerous. Why? It is due to the frequent shedding of the nasal discharges than the throat carriers. And did you ever think that how it get transmitted? Yes, it's through the aerosol route and rarely by the contact with the infected skin lesions. Humans are the only reservoir of this infection, It's common. Now let's have a look at the treatment of the Corynebacterium diphtheriae. The treatment should be started immediately on the clinical suspicion of the diphtheria. The first one, the passive immunization with the anti-diphtheritic serum or ADS or antitoxin, is the treatment of choice because it neutralizes the toxin. A trial dose should be given to check for hypersensitivity. It is given either intramuscularly or intravenously. It's about the passive immunization. When we talk about the antibiotics using here, penicillin or erythromycin is the drug of choice. Here, the antibiotics play a minor role as it is of no use once the toxin is secreted. However, the antibiotics are useful if we given early before the toxin release or to prevent the further release of the toxin by killing the bacteria by these antibiotics, or for the treatment of the cutaneous diphtheria, or lastly for the treatment of carriers where the drug of choice is erythromycin. Here you just remember about two tests. It's the toxin antitoxin neutralization test to distinguish between individuals who are resistant and susceptible. And the next test is ELIC test. It is to test the potency of the toxin. Now next, see what is prophylaxis or vaccination. Active immunization is done with the diphtheria toxoid as it induces the antitoxin production in the body. However, vaccine is not effective for two conditions. First one, prevention of cutaneous diphtheria, and secondly, elimination of carrier stage. The types of vaccine. There are single vaccine as well as combined vaccine. Example of single vaccine is diphtheria toxoid and example of combined vaccine is DPT or DT. The DPT vaccine, which is a combined vaccine, is the preparation of choice for vaccinating infants because of two reasons. First one, since it is a combined vaccine, in infants it can be immunized simultaneously against three important childhood diseases like diphtheria, tetanus and pertussis by a single injection. Second one, pertussis component acts as adjuvant and increases the immunogenicity of DT and TT. Total 5 doses of DPT are given, 3 doses at 6, 10 and 14 weeks of birth followed by a two booster doses at 16 to 24 months and 5 years. Site of DPT vaccine is deep intramuscularly at the anterolateral aspect of the thigh. Here the gluteal region is not preferred as the fat may inhibit the DPT absorption. Adverse reaction following DPT administration include fever and local reaction like swelling and inturations are observed commonly. In severe adverse reaction, it can lead to neurological complications since the whole cell killed vaccine of Bordetella pertussis is encephalotogenic. Hence, DPT is not recommended after 6 years of age. So, absolute contraindications to DPT is very important. The first one, if it is hypersensitive to the previous dose. Secondly, if the patient have progressive neurological disorders. In these two conditions, it is contraindicated. And I already told that DPT is not safe to use children above the age of 6 years. What we will do here? Here we have acellular pertussis vaccine. This form of pertussis vaccine is devoid of neurological complications and it is given safely to the older children. One term we should remember here in this chapter is diphtherioids or non-diphtherial corynebacteria or coryneiforms. These are non-diphtherial corynebacteria that usually exist as normal commensals in the throat, skin, conjunctiva and other areas. In immunocompromised patients, it can cause invasive diseases. It can be how we will differentiate the diphtherioids from Corynebacterium diphtheria. First one, its strains are more uniform than Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Secondly, it has a palisade arrangement, that is, they are arranged in parallel rows rather than cuneiform pattern. And the Other feature is except for the Corynebacterium cirrhosis, all other diphtheroids lack the metachromatic granule. And finally, the toxigenicity or virulence test is negative for diphtheroids. It's about today's video. If you like my video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel, and if you have any doubt you can comment in the comment box. And thank you for watching.